whenever you're ready.
Good evening. It is Monday, August 25th. It is 6:26 p.m. This is the Parks and Recreation Committee. I am Jeffrey Wood, and I'm joined tonight by Mrs. Marshall. Our chairwoman, Mrs. Westfall, could not be here this evening. Tonight, we're here to discussing an increase in authorization an increase of $20,000 in authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety into contract to amend the Parks and Recreation Master Plan with American Structurepoint to include adding a specialty sports tourism firm, Legacy Sports Group. Mr. Titterington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to give you an update, since February when you authorized the Park and Recreation Master Plan, the PRIMP, some people like to keep the R off, call it the PRIMP. It's been about 7 months, and American Structurepoint has done a lot of work in relation to surveying and doing public outreach, public meetings, and focus groups. The response in surveys, as I've mentioned in the past, I believe I mentioned at the last council meeting even, 860 plus people turned in surveys. By comparison, 680 plus submitted surveys for the overall comprehensive plan. So as impressed as American Structurepoint was with the response to the comprehensive plan, they've been overwhelmed, and they are analyzing the data. They will be incorporating that data into the final report. I know that one of our citizens has asked a couple of times when that data will be available. I suppose the raw data, which is probably absolutely meaningless because it's in columns and rows and hundreds of pages, tens if not hundreds of pages. Until it gets compiled and it gets cross-checked and condensed down into to charts and sorted appropriately. I'm not sure how much that's going to mean, particularly without the write-up and the explanations. And so all that's being worked on. And that's the surveys. And we've also done 5 different focus groups. We've got another one scheduled, and then an 8th one is to be scheduled. We've had focus groups with baseball, football, pickleball, soccer. Tennis is to be scheduled. Skate park with pool, with senior center, Lincoln Community Center, and so it's been a very comprehensive process to this point. Now, one thing that American Structurepoint has found, and the staff has seen from both the surveys and more specifically in the focus groups, is there's a lot of demand out there for new facilities, new infrastructure, et cetera. And the common theme, a couple of common themes that have come out from the participants, the community members, and the stakeholders in those particular groups is that kind of if you build it, then they will come, and if they come, then the economic impact will be enough to be not only meaningful, but in a couple of cases, the feeling is that it would pay for the improvements. Structurepoint and staff are concerned that maybe that's a little rosy. And American Structurepoint has recommended that a group that they have worked with on a subcontracting basis is Legacy Sports Group, who specializes in doing such things as analyses of demand, kind of the regional outlook, as well as statewide, particularly when we're talking about the potential for bringing tournaments and those kind of events, regional events, statewide events as well as and by doing that, then we can correctly size the number of fields, the number of facilities, the number, of different amenities that we have or that we want, as well as then drill down a little bit more into the potential economic impact. Not really the general play, the league play, which is, that has a very marginal economic impact, but where those folks think that there might be tournaments involved, soccer, baseball, whatever, that they have a realistic expectation. And the council, park board, and the rec board also have a reasonable idea, because one of the next steps will be listing out of all of those demands, giving cost estimates for those demands, and then prioritizing and finding the money, or the money ideas anyway, to fund those priorities. So they are recommending Legacy to help with that effort. There would be an additional cost of $20,000, up to $20,000, for them to dive in. They will do some follow-up on some of the focus groups to better understand, probably one-on-one or in smaller groups, not reconvening all of those focus groups, but the key participants in those focus groups, doing some interviewing to best understand exactly what they're talking about. They are saying that they can do that within the window of time and not delay the park master plan draft, so we can keep on schedule. We are, for that reason, to keep on schedule and to get this started as quickly as possible, we are recommending emergency legislation.
Okay. So, do you have any questions? So, just to be clear, what we're trying to do and try to get here, we have the surveys we've taken, and the people have filled those out and said, here's what this individual person would like to have. And let's assume that, for the sake of argument, that baseball, football, and soccer are at the top of that list. Those three sports, everyone wants to have those, and we want to build new fields for those. Some of these people saying, hey, if we get really nice fields or more fields, we might be able to bring in soccer tournaments, football tournaments, baseball tournaments. Mm-hmm. The goal here is to try to have this group, Legacy Sports Management, say, well, yes, and no. There are people looking, you can have it, or are they going to be here and say, is that one part of what they're doing, or are they also going to be saying, well, you guys don't even have enough in hotels or restaurants or vice versa to have these tournaments, so you need to scale back what you think you can get done? Is that what we're trying to get out of this?
I would say all of the above. It's a good point about the support infrastructure, like the hotels. So they will look at that in terms of what the overall big picture. But the other thing that I neglected to mention is that so let's use soccer fields. Let's say, for example, I'm not sure how many we have, but let's say we have 15 soccer fields. They're spread out all over the place, though. Primarily they're in Duke Park, and we have a few in Archer Park, and then we have them scattered in neighborhoods and surrounding areas. They will also look at, if there's an opportunity to grow soccer and to attract, they'll say, here's a number of tournaments that are in this area. Are you saturated or not? Can it support another tournament or two? And would Troy be that host? And to do that, what kind of infrastructure would we need to have, as well as are our soccer fields located in the most strategic place? Or do we need to, focus more soccer fields hypothetically, let's say in Duke Park or Archer Park? So they'll look at all of that, and then yes, once they get to that point, then they'll say, okay, well, if you're going to attract this size tournament, you can estimate that you're going to have this many teams with this many players and coaches and support staff, as well as families of an average of three per player. You know, X percentage of them are going to be from out of town and are going to need some lodging, and that's where you look at your hotel space and what's not only in Troy, but also in probably as far down as Dayton in that area, which has been the case with the Strawberry Festival tournament in the past. So all of those things would go in, and that would be part of the comprehensive report that they would provide to American Structurepoint, who would then fold that into the PRIMP.
Okay. So if soccer was very popular on schedule, which we don't know, let's just say it was, and people want the fields, but we get information back from this group saying, you know what, we're not sure if you can really attract any new soccer tournaments. We're maxed out. That may change how we place our fields, what fields we build, or at least give us guidance on how to do those things, correct?
Well, it also because when this presentation, the draft is made to you, you're going to see all of the priorities from all of the groups. And so that may we'd hope that would better inform the council and the boards as to, which priorities are more important, or what portion of a decidedly finite amount of money should be spent on one priority versus another, and where.
You have any other questions?
It'll be very interesting because I do think that softball, soccer, baseball, they all have, tournaments are huge everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how they can differentiate which one is larger.
Sure.
But,
do other members of council have any questions? Mr. Pierce?
Since we are looking at making such a meaningful investment in sports, I appreciate you bringing this forward with Legacy Sports Group, but what kind of track record do they have? What other cities can we look at, or communities, whether it's in the state or outside the state, to see what they've done?
They do have, I believe in the presentation that was part of your packet, they do have some examples of the kind of work that they've done in different communities. So they do have a track record of providing those services.
All right.
American Structurepoint has used them several times and have been very, very positive.
I don't know if it was just, but I saw they're located in Indiana, so they have many towns in Indiana.
All right. I had something, forgot what it was.
Sorry. Mr. Phillips.
Well, just a comment. When folks come to the dais here, or have come to the dais and indicated that it is a big thing for the city of Troy, in general, that is a true statement. However, it is not the city of Troy itself that is the beneficiary of generally let's just throw $1 million price tag for an event as the revenue. That's hotels, that's restaurants, that's other ancillary businesses where they may need pharmaceuticals or sports equipment or things like that. The city is not going to reap finances coming from that coming forward unless it's rental of the fields, which in our instance is minimal of what we charge folks to rent those things. So it's for the businesses of Troy, not for the city entity itself. It's the large group of us, if you would. So that's differentiating, I think, sometimes the tenor that comes from the microphone when folks come in here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an important differentiation.
Yes, good point.
Who's going to be beneficial in this?
Sure. Mr. Pierce again? No? Any other members of the audience have any questions? Mayor, it looks like you have something you want to say. You ready to make a recommendation?
Sure. we move forward.
It is a agreement to move forward. Is there anything else to come before the committee?
With emergency?
With emergency, yes.
No, sir.
Nothing else.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.